Welcome back, Happy New Year. Today I've got Lydia joining me again. She was one of my models last year, and if you remember, I talked about growth pattern, and Lydia used to have a shaved head, but she has been growing her hair. And that's our topic for today. I'm gonna show you some ways that you can encourage your hair to grow, and as a hairstylist, what we can do to help the process sort of just become easier. Over the course of the year, Lydia's been growing out her hair and I've been trimming it for her. When I say that I've been trimming her hair is I've been doing haircuts probably at least every 10 weeks, really spacing the haircuts apart because it's hard as a hairdresser to take off less than ½ an inch. So note that if you're trying to grow your hair, as much as a hairstylist I would love to see you, it's important for you to leave and let your hair grow. Some of the things that you want to look at when you're growing your hair is what shape do you want to achieve when you're growing out your hair. So with Lydia, one of the key things that we've been doing is we've slowly been making sure to take the back up. And why we want to do that is we're slowly getting these lengths to sit a little bit longer in Lydia's hairstyle. For today's look, we're actually going to be taking off this whole back area and then adding in some more shape and movement through the top and sides because Lydia doesn't want to have a bob look. But she also doesn't want to have a shag either. So a shag would be something that would sit very, very short and then would slowly get a little bit longer to the back. So make sure you have a thorough consultation with your hairstylist and let them know what your goals are for your hair grow out. I've got Lydia shampooed, and what I've done here is I've sectioned away the fringe or bang area because in that area I know that we are going to place a slightly longer fringe on Lydia. If you want your hair to appear like it's grown faster, always put a fringe in your haircut because it gives you a focal point that people are going to bring up to your eye and then automatically then look down to your length. I'm gonna start this haircut in the back. So what I've done here is I've created a center part so that when I'm cutting, I'll know that I'm balanced from side to side. I'm almost finished cutting Lydia's hair. There's another portion that I'm gonna do once Lydia's hair has been styled. And I wanna talk about that first because Lydia is sort of a wash and go kind of gal. And why we decided not to do a really strong bob like mine is because that requires a lot of styling in the morning, where Lydia just sort of likes to have some of her natural wave and texture come out in her hair. Another thing is when you've had maybe a bad haircut and you want to grow it out, keep in mind that it might take your hairstylist about 2 to 3 haircuts to remove that old haircut. The other thing is you don't have to suffer through a bad haircut. Make sure you talk to your hairstylist or a new hairstylist and find out if there's any styling tips that they might have for you so that you don't have to walk around with a hairstyle that you don't like. Oftentimes, that might include a little bit more wave or curl in your hair. I'm just gonna add a little bit of styling product, blow dry, and then I'll finish up and tell you the rest. As I mentioned, Lydia has a little bit of natural wave to her hair. So I've dried it by using a diffuser and a little bit of the Aveda Smooth Infusion so that we can get as close to what her hair will naturally do for her. Because I've gone ahead and cut the fringe, by letting it dry this way, I can see where it's actually going to sit. So I'm going to take this a little bit shorter so that Lydia can see for a little while. And I would love to do a tutorial for you all someday on how to cut your own fringe. But until then, my top tip for you would be make sure that you have a good connection to your hairdresser, because I know for myself, I love to see my clients come in and I love to do a quick fringe trim because there are some disasters that you can do at home. And there are some techniques that you actually have to have someone else do for you. I know that there's been in the past where I've worn a fringe and I was able to cut it myself, but in this technique that I'm doing on Lydia, you actually can't cut on yourself. So other little details that I like to do once I've dried someone's hair is I like to make sure that the fringe or the bang is framing around someone's face nicely. I've also got these sort of longer pieces on the side, which is basically what we've done here is a layered bob on Lydia. So I'm just gonna use the tips of my scissor and just refine those areas and make sure these are matching. So as I've mentioned before, actually in the video with Lydia talking about hair growth, you can see that Lydia's hair likes to grow in on this side. And if you look at this little piece of hair here, it's actually kicking away. So that's her growth pattern. And I'm gonna leave that because I think it just keeps it looking really fresh and really modern. So Lydia, you are also going to be getting a little bit of hair color. And I think it's important to talk about hair color because if you're trying to grow your hair, you have to look at your hair as a fabric. When we have hair color in our hair and we're using a lot of heat every day, it's gonna compromise your hair or compromise the fabric. Like for me, for example, because I color my hair, I heat style every day, if I wanted to grow my hair really long, I would need to ease off the heat styling. And I'd have to be careful not to have any overlap with my hair color. For Lydia, in about 10 weeks, she's gonna call me and we're gonna discuss if she is in need of a haircut. And at that point, she might stick with this hairstyle for a while or she might go even longer, in which case, when she does her hair color, she might actually wanna keep it closer to her natural instead of doing a peachy tone like she has now, where she actually has to lighten her hair first and then add some tone. So hopefully you can see it's not that difficult to actually have to grow out your hair, as long as you have a good relationship with your hairstylist. Hey, it's Morgan again. If you liked this video, make sure that you've subscribed. I have a new video like this coming to you every week. And while you're at it, share with your friends.